Welcome to Growing Tall Poppies, Thrive After Trauma. I'm your host, Dr. Nat Green, and I am so excited to have you join me as we discuss what it means to navigate your way through trauma or significant challenges and not just survive, but to thrive after it. This is a space for people who've been through trauma or adversity, have done some healing, and know they're meant for more than just coping. This podcast is about post-traumatic growth, not getting back to who you used to be. Rather, understanding who you are now and learning how to stand tall without shrinking, forcing, or abandoning yourself. Here, we explore identity after adversity, integrity and visibility wounds, nervous system wisdom, and what it really takes to move forward in a way that feels aligned, embodied, and true. You will hear a blend of deep solo conversations and powerful guest interviews with people who have lived this work, not just studied it. Because growth doesn't come from pushing harder, it comes from understanding how you adapted, honouring your nervous system, and gently updating the old agreements that no longer fit the life you're ready to live. If you're ready to stop hiding, stop performing, and start owning who you are becoming, then you are in the right place. Let's grow tall together. And welcome back to Growing Tall Poppies. And to another of our conversations with Dr. Nat. I'm your host, Dr. Nat Green, and I am really glad that you're here. Today, I want to talk about something that happened recently. And have you ever had one of those moments where something completely ordinary suddenly feels extraordinary? And you're not really sure why. Nothing dramatic happened. Nothing changed around you. But somehow, something changed inside of you. Well, that's what happened to me last week. And it's been on my mind ever since. So I thought I'd share, because I'm sure that I'm not alone in this. I can't possibly be the only one who's experienced something like this. Last week, I travelled back to the regional town where I grew up. Wasn't a holiday. Wasn't even a planned trip. I'd gone back for the funeral of a very dear friend's mum. It was one of those beautiful services that truly reminds you how incredibly precious life truly is and how fragile it is. But more than that, how important it is to tell the people that we love just how much they mean to us and that we love them while we still can. Although I was only there for a couple of days, I managed to catch up with some beautiful and really special people. People that I've known for years. Some, in fact, most of them since childhood. And there's something incredibly grounding about those friendships. You know, the ones where you don't have to explain who you've become, because they always knew who you were. And while I was there, I found myself driving around, driving past some of the old haunts, looking at past houses that I'd lived in or that some of my really close friends had lived in, past streets that held memories, so many memories. I laughed as I thought of when we would walk home from school, what we would get up to. I drove past my old schools and past some places that at the time felt like my whole world. Then I grabbed a coffee, some lunch, and I drove out of town to a place beside the river. And I found somewhere to sit and enjoy my coffee and my lunch. And I simply stopped. There was no phone in my hand, no podcast playing, no emails to answer, no photos I felt compelled to post on social media. Just me. The trees, the river, the gentle breeze, and that beautiful country air smell. When you know, you know. And the quiet. I've always laughed and said, oh, you can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. It's one of those lines I've repeated for years. But this time, it felt different. I actually felt it really deep within me. Not just emotionally, but physically. I felt like it was really part of me. I noticed my breathing. It slowed right down without me even trying. My shoulders had dropped. They'd softened without me having to remind myself to relax. My jaw, it just wasn't tight. And there wasn't that constant noise, that familiar hum in my mind. That background sense of urgency that says, oh, what should you be doing now? What should you be doing next? Instead, I just sat there. Silence. Just the wind in the trees. I was completely present. And honestly, I can't remember the last time I'd experienced that so deeply. And as I sat there, I just found myself wondering, what was different this time? Was it simply the fresh country air? Was it the sound of the river? Was there something in my coffee? Was it the smell of the gum trees, the eucalyptus? Or was it the familiarity? Maybe. I don't think that was all of it. I've spent the past year doing some of the deepest work I've ever done on myself. Not because I was broken, not because I needed fixing, in inverted commas, fixing, but because I became curious. Curious about the parts of me that still felt driven to do things in a certain way, that still felt responsible, that still believed I always had to hold everything together. And I've continued understanding my own identity fractures, not just from a place of insight and not just intellectually, but experientially from a place of deep within. And I really have fully embraced them. I've continued learning what my nervous system actually needs, and I've practiced TRE, the trauma release exercises, consistently. And as a result, I've learned how to notice when my body is moving into protection instead of waiting until I'm completely exhausted. And little by little, something has clearly been changing. Not overnight, not dramatically, just quietly. Almost, what's the word, imperceptibly, and sitting beside that river. I think I experienced the result of all that work. Not because I had some profound insight or a lightning bolt hit me out of the blue, but because nothing happened. And for the first time, that felt enough. I wasn't trying to improve myself. I wasn't analysing myself. I wasn't even planning my next program. I wasn't thinking about work or social media or the next podcast or the next newsletter. I was simply there. And I honestly cannot tell you how grateful I felt for the entire experience. And I realised something. Perhaps coming home isn't always about returning to a place. Perhaps the places that shaped us don't call us back so we can remember them. Perhaps they actually call us back so we can remember ourselves. Because that's what it truly felt like. It felt like meeting a version of myself that had been there all along, but that I'd forgotten about or become really disconnected from. That version of me that had been patiently waiting, not asking me to become someone different, simply inviting me back. Really got me thinking. You know, we spend so much of our lives chasing that next version of ourselves. I've got to do better, be better, the next level, the next goal, the next breakthrough. And maybe growth does sometimes look like that, but maybe sometimes growth actually looks like this instead. Breathing deeply without realising anything had changed. Your shoulders softening and just letting go. Laughing more easily, feeling safe enough to do absolutely nothing without that guilt. Feeling completely present without needing to earn it. Those moments don't usually make it onto our achievement lists. But I do wonder if they're actually some of the greatest signs that something inside us has actually changed. Not because we've become someone new, but because we've finally stopped fighting ourselves. I just want to share that with you today. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while and you've been doing your own work, and I want to encourage you this week as well. Don't only look for the big breakthroughs. Pay attention to those quiet ones. The little ones that often get missed. The moments that your body just softens. The moments that you don't rush like you usually do. The moments that you notice that you're just reacting or responding a little differently. The moments where you feel just a little more like you, like yourself. Because I honestly have a feeling that that's where the real transformation quietly lives. Yeah, I just really wanted to share what I'd noticed, what had happened for me this past week, because I know that I'm not alone. And before I finish today, I'd love to leave you with a question. When was the last time that you felt completely at home within yourself? Not because life was perfect, not because every one of your problems have disappeared, but because for just a few moments, you weren't trying to be anyone other than who you already are. That authentic version of you who's always been there. And I'd genuinely love to hear your answer. You can always send me a message on Instagram, reply to this week's newsletter, or leave a comment wherever you're listening. And if today's conversation resonated with you, then I would genuinely be so grateful if you shared it with someone who might just need to hear it. So until next time, take care, keep standing tall, and keep shining your light brightly in the world. Take gentle care of yourself. Bye for now. Thank you for spending this time with me on Growing Tall Poppies. My hope is that today's episode has offered you something more than insight, that it's helped you feel a little more connected to who you are now, a little more trusting of your body, and a little more permission to stand tall without shrinking or forcing yourself forward. Post-traumatic growth isn't about fixing yourself or returning to who you once were. It's about understanding how you adapted, honouring your nervous system, and gently choosing what no longer needs to come with you. New episodes of Growing Tall Poppies are released weekly, every Tuesday, and I'd love for you to continue walking this path with us as we explore identity after adversity, integrity and visibility wounds, nervous system wisdom, and what it truly means to grow forward, grounded, aligned, and embodied. If this episode resonated, I invite you to subscribe, follow, share it with someone that you feel might need it, or simply take a quiet moment to reflect on what's ready to move forward for you. You can also find me on Instagram at Dr. Nat Green, on Facebook at Dr. Natalie Green, or over on YouTube at Dr. Nat Green. And remember, you don't need to rush, and you don't need to hide anymore. Stay connected, stay true, and keep standing tall like the tall poppy you are. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.